Good morning, fine fellows of... That was a bit high pitch, wasn't it? Good morning, fine fellows of YouTube and lasses. I hope you're all doing fine and dandy out there in YouTube land. Today finds us on a route, well, via the school, because we've got to drop Willow her hat off because she's got a sore ear. So, you know, I wanted to give her the day off, but Hazel, being the taskmaster that she is, said, no, you can go to...
a day off. It's a bad ethic that thinks she can have a day off because she's got a cold. She can go to school. If she's rough, they can send her home. She'll be fine when she gets there.
See
I
what
went
I'm
to school
dealing
with
with.
scarlet fever.
See, was she a nice girl? Scarlet fever. I went to school with her. Anyway, back to the subject in hand. Thank you. We are off today to Cambridge because Hazel, being a runner, did you know she's a runner? She doesn't often talk about running.
Marathon this year. Did you know I'm doing a marathon this year?
Doing a marathon this year. She did a, was it cancer research run yesterday?
I did.
She did a cancer research run up the city yesterday. But anyway, she needs a second pair of trainers because she runs so fast it looks like she's got 4 legs. No, she does need a second pair of trainers though for running, and she'll need them for the marathon. And that's what she wanted for her birthday, which was yesterday. And she's clocking up the years now.
No. I'm in my I'll go for mid-30s.
Mid-30s, right, okay. 1930s, I think she was born. That's what she really means. Anyway, it's not much fun being married to an octogenarian. They're very miserable. They're horrible.
I would know, wouldn't I? Don't have to tell me.
Look, we're going out today because we need to get her a few things. All right, okay. I'll fess up. I'll come to the point. We are not going to get her running shoes at all. We are actually going to get her some of those Velcro slippers and a fluffy dressing gown.
That's all right.
And a commode.
And a Zimmer frame.
And yeah, a Zimmer frame. And we're also going to get, I haven't told her, but between you and me, I'm having a chairlift fitted in the stairwell. So when we get home, she can get up and down the stairs. Can't get up and down the stairs. She can't see. She got the ump with me. What's new? She's always got the ump with me. Anyway, never mind. So we're off today to Cambridge. We're off to see Cambridge. We're off to Cambridge today to get Hazel a pair of running or running shoes. And yeah, and that's about as exciting as it gets. Do you want to come along? Oh, it's not like you've got a choice, is it? Well, you have, because you could actually turn this vlog off, but if you want to come along. See you in a bit. So yes, rather than go out for a nice lunch with me and the children yesterday, which I kind of thought she was going to do, she did something that she wanted to do for her birthday, and she did that run for cancer research. She does it every year, or she's done it for the last couple of years anyway. I'm assuming that she's going to do it next year and just carry on. But yeah, she had quite a, she didn't, I mean, it was her birthday yesterday. She did what she wanted to do. She went out and she did the run, and then she came home, and I bought her a cake and bits and bobs, and then we went round to her mum and dad's for dinner. This is pretty boring, isn't it? But anyway, then we went round there, and that's all she did really yesterday. So I'm trying to hopefully make today a little bit more exciting for her, a little bit more like a birthday, as it were. Be like the Queen now. She can have 2 birthdays. I'm not doing it every year though. But yeah, so we'll see what transpires a little later. We'll see what we do. Probably take her for a bit of lunch or something, and we'll work our way from there.
That face is now.
Bit simple. God, it's a miserable day out here today. So what we did, we're en route, we stopped for breakfast because Hazel hasn't had anything to eat. I've had some breakfast, but Hazel hasn't. So we stopped at the Silver Ball Cafe in Reed, which is just past the town of Royston, or actually before the town of Royston. The thing I like about this, it's like a proper old cafe, proper old working man's cafe. And when I used to drive lorries, these are the places I used to stop at for lunch and stuff. Proper greasy spoon, as they say. Let's go inside for that proper old cafe. Look at that. Proper old driver's working man's cafe. Brilliant. Many a meal I've had in here over the years, I can tell you. There we go. Oh, it's so cold in here. I've even put my favourite hat on, my train hat. God, it's freezing, look. See my breath in front of my face. Need to pick that up. I definitely can see my breath in front of my face. Look at that. Nice hot cup of coffee. I was just having a tea with 38 sugars in it. 2 sugars, she says. I think she might be a fly. All that sugar she's drinking, eating. Perfect. I'll tell you what, it's quite a nice city, but my word, it's convoluted to get anywhere. It's all don't turn here, buses only here, you can't go there. So the route that it's meant to take you, 2 different routes, took us anywhere but near it, so now we've got to walk to it, which isn't a problem, but it's just a pain in the ass to get to. Anyway, never mind, we're here now. Well, that's me fully sated. Do you know what? We went in there, I had quite a big veggie breakfast. Hazel had her, what did you have?
Sausage, chips and beans.
Sausage, chips and beans. And fried bread, Hazel had. I had a veggie sausage, beans, mushrooms, fried sliced egg. And tomatoes. It was quite big, enough for me.
Tea, cup of coffee?
A cup of tea, cup of coffee. £1.80.
£14.
No, it wasn't. It was £14, and there was tons of it, and it was good food, and okay, it was good food, and yet you go to somewhere else, one of these poncy little coffee shops, and that'd cost you that for I don't know, cake and a cup of tea. It's ridiculous, So that's why I like CAFs. But unfortunately, when I used to drive lorries and that years and years ago, I used to do it in between sort of like a second job. And when I used to do that, there was loads of cafes all over England, these little roadside trucker cafes, little roadside working men cafes. And now they're like a novelty now. And it reminds me of the mom and pop stores that they have in America, like small town America. In the 50s, 60s, they used to have these little shops that were owned by, the residents of the town, little small towns, and they were cosy and quaint, and it sort of harks back to a simpler time, really. And you got value for your money, and you got to know them on a personal basis, and that's what these cafes used to be like. But they've all gone now. I mean, they're very few and far between. But brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I would always recommend going into a roadside cafe rather than one of these coffee shops, because you're paying for the objet d'art they're sticking up on the walls. Paint the. See, the way it seems to go is you rent a shop in the town centre. You paint it, I don't know, grey or some poncy colour. Not that grey is, but you know what I mean. Some out there colour, purple or aubergine or what have you. And then you stick some pictures of coffee on the wall. And then, hey presto, £7 a cup of coffee. I know that's exaggerating and stretching it a bit, but not far short of that in some places. So yeah. Anyway, I've had me moan, and we're gonna make our way to Cambridge now. See you in a bit. So we're going up there. Pretty, look. Very pretty. Isn't it? There you go. Some sort of university quadrant in there. It is a pretty city. Oh, it rhymed. So that's where we're going. Up and running. That's where she's going to get her gate tested, running gates. It's stunning here, it really is. They do love a bike here. And Hazel's doing the off. Better catch up with her. So in there is the famous Trinity College. Beautiful place. Look at all these bloody students making a mess of the place with their right on protests and crap. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, that was a short but sweet view of Cambridge. There's a lot more to it than just that. But it is a pretty little city. However, as I said before, parking and it's a bit of a nightmare really. But so Cambridge, for those of you that don't know, and I can't imagine that there is many people out there that don't know, Cambridge is actually a university town, and it's sort of one of the, where are we? One of the upper echelons of university towns here in the UK. You have Cambridge and you have Oxford. So those are where all the those are where the or used to be. I'm not so sure as it is now. I think it probably still is, but that's where the well-to-do used to go and get their educations. Obviously, there's ordinary people get in there, but I think they get in there on scholarships as opposed to anything else. But yeah, this is where the gentry and the upper class tend to congregate for education. Now, it's made up of different houses, different colleges, but together they obviously make up the university, and they make up the University of Cambridge town itself. And it's very similar in Oxford as well. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. I mean, I'm sure that everybody in England, they must have been born and lived their lives under a rock if they're not familiar with it. But Cambridge and Oxford, once a year, they have what's called a boat race. And they have it on the Thames. It's the Thames, isn't it? At Henley. It's I think it's the same week as the regatta. It's part of the Henley Regatta, I think. And what they do is they just race each other, and it's become whoever is in Britain or England, pick a team. Now, Hazel was always picked. Who have you picked?
I think Cambridge, I can't remember.
Cambridge, yeah. Hazel's a Cambridge girl, and so am I, because it's my nearest county. So every year, I sort of cheer on Cambridge. But yeah, so it's a very, very famous university town, and lots of our great leaders, not so great leaders as well, lots of our statesmen, and indeed lots of our dignitaries have actually been educated either here or at Oxford University. So that's just a small summary of it. Obviously there's a whole history of it. I couldn't even give you a potted history and do it justice, so I'm not even going to try. But it's a pretty amazing place, and I never went to Cambridge University. In fact, I never went to university. Hazel did. Hazel went to Northampton, didn't you, Hazel? Which again is not so popular as Cambridge. I'm not going to say anything about it, but yeah, and never mind. No, it's not bad. It's a good university, but it's not in the league of Cambridge or Oxford. In fact, there aren't many. I think in America you might call it an Ivy League college or an Ivy League education. Yeah. So it's that. It's kind of our equivalent of that, or yours is your equivalent of ours, vice versa, whatever. So that's what it is, right, guys? So I've worn myself out trying to get all that information out. Not a lot of information, but it's just trying to think of it on the hoof, as it were. Right. Let's have a look along the canal here. Cambridge is very pretty. It is. It's kind of a weird mix of sort of town and country. But yeah, it's very nice. I'm wondering if they practice on that stretch of river. Maybe they do. There you go. Who's that, sorry? Punting, that's right. Yeah, that's the big thing they do in Cambridge. They go punting. It's a very dignified, posh way of getting on a boat. Right, yeah, so we had a pretty productive day today. Obviously got a little bit of a vlog of Cambridge going on there. The one thing I neglected to mention about Cambridge is, yes, there are dignitaries and statesmen, all criminals and all sorts of nefarious characters that have been there and have been educated there. But they've also pretty well renowned for, and I think Oxford is the same, particularly Cambridge, I think, it's produced more than its fair share of double agents and spies. And one spy, they that I remember who was educated there was a guy called Kim Philby. And Kim Philby ended up running away to Russia because he used to give a lot of the, I think he worked for MI6 or MI5, can't quite remember, but he worked for one of the secret agencies, and he fed a lot of the information and a lot of the secrets of the country and the nation to the Russians. And he was basically, he had to flee to Russia at one point, and he wasn't allowed back home again. So he was, in the eyes of the crown, he was a traitor. I think he ended up leading quite a sorrowful and bare life in Moscow. I think he was put up in a flat, and there wasn't a lot there because it was austere. There was absolutely nothing there. You got to remember, behind the Iron Curtain in the sort of 70s and 80s, it really was dire. So he didn't prosper from it. But yeah, there's more than their fair share of agents and double agents there that have either been on the side of the crown, or more often than not, as the case may be, they were against the crown. So they were considered traitors and treasonous. So that's really it. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. I know it wasn't very long, and maybe a little bit boring for you. I hope not. I hope you got something from it anyway, even if it was just looking at the scenery, because it is a pretty little city. So yeah, I will speak to you next time, guys. Take it easy and look out and look after yourselves. See you soon. Bye now.